Hello, welcome to the 24th episode of the T40's podcast. It's October 16th, 2011.
24. That's how all my brothers roll.
Sure. If you want to send us an email, it's podcast@tipping40s.com, or leave us a voicemail at 218-666-8407. My name is Benson.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Michael.
And Alex is missing today. So he will be back when we go back to our podcast, but
we actually have to find him.
We actually will, yeah.
Much like Mario.
Well, same.
Thanks. We have actually, one thing we should note right now is that there will be no podcast next week. Bandunk, a.k.a. Michael, is getting married. So
yeah,
let's have a round of applause.
You can send your money.
By round, I mean two of us.
You can send your money to our PayPal account because I can ask for donations on this bitch. Donations.
All right. So
it's for the wedding.
We have a lot of stuff to cover today because, we're missing a segment because Alex won't be here. So I think we should start getting to it. We got some voicemails to start off with. Did you pump it up a little? All right. Here we go.
Hey, I was calling in about Benson being confused about hippies playing bongos. Where I live, there's a shit ton of hippies.
Yeah.
And most of them play bongos because they're just easy to hit and sound good on for some reason. Also, fuck Jeff Dunham.
He makes a fair point. I guess I was mistaken. I don't know anyone who plays the bongos, but I can say that I've had two people now tell me that I'm wrong.
Play is a very loose definition.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, though I still stand by my statement that the Occupy Wall Street people are not hippies anyway, because hippies are way too lazy to do any real protesting.
Yeah, they only eat Ben and Jerry's ice cream and I don't know, whatever.
Where
life is good T-shirts.
They eat Cherry Garcia.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to our next.
Yes, it is. Actually, I totally agree.
Hold on a sec. I'm making sure. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay, here we go.
Sup, Brosif? This is your scheduled drunk dial call. I'm going to talk about Terra Nova.
Oh, good.
Even though I never saw the show.
Even better.
There's one thing I just have to say. Time travel is theoretically possible while going into the future, as dictated by the theory of relativity. So, if they can go back into the past, what's stopping them from going back into the future? A.K.A. Michael J. Fox style.
I think the alcohol just kind of, his brain went on a different tangent.
Absolutely retarded, and I don't know what to say about it.
We'll just cut it off there. You are arguing the semantics of a show that
has time travel with dinosaurs.
And yeah, exactly. There's not a whole lot to we did the same thing last time. Though we were really talking about plot-based problems. He's actually concerned about the time travel. I gotta say,
I was concerned. I just didn't get into it last time because who fucking cares?
There's not a whole lot to go on.
But why would they want to go into the future? Their future already sucks. It would just be more bad.
Well, I think we're saying if they can go back to the past, why can't they get back to their future if they needed to?
Oh,
for the purposes of the show. I understand what he's saying, but
they could just throw the materials to the Stargate.
I think he was also a little too drunk to really express that properly. But
because I did not get that. Makes sense.
You make a fair point, but this is called Terra Nova here.
Hey, you fucks. I'm sorry about yelling at you in the last fucking voice message.
He sent one
earlier.
Just
play my voicemail. Sorry. Also, I want to thank you, fuck, for letting me know about Hewlett-Packard so that I can sell my stock in Hewlett-Packard while there's a bit of an upswing on it because of those prospectors who think, oh, maybe she'll fix the company.
Meg Whitman.
That way I can get out of there before she actually, gets in the company and fucks it. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, we may have actually helped someone.
Where's our Jim Cramer Mad Money soundboard?
I actually work in the financial industry, and I was talking to a salesperson about this.
Oh, a trader, right?
Yeah, a trader. Yes, more Bitcoin. And they were they had the TV on in the room, and it was like on MSNBC, and they were talking about Hewlett Packard and how Meg Whitman, bumped up their stock when she got hired. And I was like, she's not going to do anything. He's like, oh yeah, this Hewlett Packard was going down.
Oh yeah, there's no chance.
Stock tip.
Waiting for them to buy RIM. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love that prediction. I really hope it happens. Both those companies are squandering. It's like two drunk people at a party, and the people they wanted to have sex with already left, and they're just like, yeah, okay.
And then 6 months later, it burns for both of them.
There's this horrible, shitty baby comes out, and they're like, that'll be Palmberry.
That's a great analogy. Thank you, Michael.
We also got a bunch of emails. I tried replying to most of them. Sorry if I missed yours. We got one person that was talking about the fat tax in Denmark. He brings up the point that it could be beneficial for that fat tax because it helps curb rapid obesity, which costs everyone.
But really, I think they should tax corporations that make the fatty food.
Well, I still think that
people.
Being obese is a right, though. It's just it's your right to be obese, and it's my right to shit on you for it. I mean, that's just how it is. You should be able to eat.
He was making the point that obesity costs a lot of people money in healthcare costs.
Oh, it certainly does.
And it's my right to cook a whole pig on a spigot right in front of them, just to kind of.
We also got
Simpsons when they stand in front of the exercise, in front of the gym, licking ice cream cones.
So thanks for John for that email. We also got one for Tommy here, who was talking about, this is after we did the drinking game segment.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, this is a great
He says,
email.
quote, about an episode, I'd like to mention this, but yesterday I played at a hot or not drinking game at a party. My headache indicates it was a great game. Dude, I thought you were exaggerating about how people get thrown off because of skin color, but you weren't.
Yeah.
Be proud that your drinking game has forever remained a legend in a certain Canadian university. It got people drunk enough to the point where some people started playing strip Pokemon Stadium, which was hilarious because one of the girls kept screaming and cheering like it was a football game.
For about a split second, you think he's going to say strip poker.
Yeah.
And they turned strip Pokemon Stadium, which is...
I gotta ask, where do I meet? My question is, where do you meet the girls that play strip Pokemon Stadium?
My question is, where do you find Canadian universities?
All I gotta say, I should have named that game Benson's Shot or Not, because no one will ever know I made it. It'll just spread.
I'll be on Urban Dictionary, be like, curses!
Yeah, I know. I should
have
added it myself.
I'll say Carlos Mencias. Shot or not drinking. Fucker!
Oh, that's great.
So thanks for Tommy. We also got one more from JH. He actually he brought it to our attention that during Fallout New Vegas episode 8, around 15 to 16 minutes, we talk about who will die first, Steve Jobs, Al Davis, or Fidel Castro. So
incredible.
That's pretty amazing.
That's about 6 months before they actually die.
Yeah, I would say.
So I'm going to make a prediction. Who's going to die first? Karl Rove or Meg Whitman?
I'm going to say Dick Cheney.
Okay, that's a good one, too. We'll put them in
He's
there.
more machine than man now.
I actually think Fidel Castro's already dead. I think they're doing a weekend.
I think there's actually a good chance that he could already be
I think
dead.
they have like a spell on him. Some bad juju.
They're going to put headphones so you can lead them to the treasure under the water.
Him.
So thanks for all the emails. Keep sending them, and I'll keep trying to reply to them if I get around to it.
Yeah, there was some good user submission this week.
Yeah, it makes it fun.
We're going to get so much stuff, we're going to have to create a separate podcast just for voicemails and emails. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the beer of the week. We are doing a beer that isn't a good beer, but I still drink it. It's called Pabst Blue Ribbon, and you've probably heard of it. I know that Dennis Hopper has.
Heineken, fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
For that.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so Pabst Blue Ribbon is a really crappy American lager, but it's not crappy in terms of American lagers because they're almost always so damn bad. So it did win a 2006 gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival for American style lager, which should
That's
tell
a great
you
category.
well, that only goes to show you. Don't.
It's like
go
how
to
Jaden Smith won a Best Actor award at some award show.
Don't go to the
That
Great
was like
American
Kids
Beer
Awards.
Festival. That's what it teaches you. It has a C grade on Beer Advocate. C plus grade. I would say it's more of a C minus.
Well, personally, before it was cool, I'd give it an A plus, but after it wasn't cool, or it was cool, but now it's not cool because it was cool, I give it an F.
Now it's not cool because it's cool.
Yeah.
No, this is a beer famous for hipsters, as his joke was implying.
It's funny because they, when hipsters started discovering, I guess you could say, Pabst Blue Ribbon, the price of kegs went up. I think it was $20 per keg.
It went up dramatically, and it continued to sell because, as with hipsters, it became a trend.
Well, I could get Honey Brown, or I could get this PBR.
Yeah, exactly.
Be cool.
Get the Nova Scotia, $13.
Listen to my Peter Bjorn CD.
Now, the beer has become so cool that it's not cool anymore with hipsters, so the price went down again, and it's now back around the price of like Miller High Life.
So we had a PBR bubble market crash.
If I had to pick between all the beers that are in that price range, though, I would probably drink PBR. I actually think it's not that bad.
If you do have Trader Joe's around you, though, Simpler Times.
Simpler Times is
badass.
Is actually quite good. Yeah, I mean, relatively, but
$3 for a six
$3
pack.
for a
Holy
6-pack.
shit.
Yeah. PBR runs about $9 for a 12, which is not bad. It's about, 75 cents a can.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap.
But yeah, Simpler Times is definitely the best deal if you want
Amazing.
some cheap beer. So yeah, don't shit on me for drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. Just leave it alone. It's not that bad, and I'm poor. So.
Leave Benson alone.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move to some real content here.
Yeah.
Let's get talking about
I don't even know what our
video
first
games.
segment is.
I always forget to do a table of contents. I think it's better.
Yeah.
Then it surprises you. And people won't just turn it off and go, I don't want to hear about this shit.
So,
God damn, I want to hear this. Oh, now I'm invested already.
Yeah, exactly. They already started listening.
I'll just play this in the background while I watch porn.
That's, I wonder how many people have. Someone's done that with us.
Hey, it's multitasking, whatever.
Okay, so I figured after 24 podcast episodes, I get to talk about video games now.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. I'm going to be talking about basically how the demographic for video games have changed and it's made video games shitty.
Okay.
Would you say
is a bad week for
What do you
Alex
mean
to
by
not be here.
demographics?
Well,
specifically,
the whole idea of the topic came up because we've been playing Fable 2 on our podcast. And
Yeah.
I've been playing Dark Souls by myself because it just came out.
Because
And
there are two ends of the
crazy.
spectrum.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's funny because like they said, they're both like medieval action games with a focus on combat and a level up mechanic. Okay, they both sound similar on paper, but they're drastically different in several ways.
Yeah, one's made by Japanese people, and the other one's made by Australian people.
I don't know if that says anything about nationality, but Fable 2 is the combat's simple. There's one button for each of the three, melee, range, magic. Dark Souls doesn't have that. It uses about 6 different buttons for those things. Melee is simple mashing in Fable 2, and it requires strategy and timing in Dark Souls. Range combat is overpowered in Fable, and in Dark Souls it's good, but it's limited. There's a whole bunch of stuff like Dark Souls. If you die, you're basically shit out of luck, and you have to do a corpse run to get your XP back. In Fable, you just take a little bit, and you just get back up where you're standing. The AI is retarded in Fable. In Dark Souls, it's somewhat competent. Different level of mechanics. But anyway, they're opposite. One's a hardcore game, and the other one's you can consider casual, basically. The problem with this is that Fable is way more successful than Dark Souls because it's easier to get into, and this is because the markets have been changing very drastically in the last couple of years when it comes to video games.
Well, don't you think that also has to do with the fact that when the first Fable came out, it was grossly over-promoted?
Well,
I mean, and it's
Fable
published by
3 didn't do
Microsoft.
nearly as well.
A lot of people thought that Fable was going to be like...
to put that in perspective here, I have some numbers. Fable 2 came out in October of 2009, or October of 2008, sorry. Mm-hmm. And during a 2-year period, which I have the statistic for, to March of 2010, it sold about 3.5 million copies, making it the best-selling RPG on the Xbox.
That's pretty good.
Dark Souls has only been out for 2 weeks, so I can't use that. But if we look at Demon Souls, which is basically the prequel, from the time it came out to today, it has only sold 1.3 million copies. So
That's still really good,
It's
though.
good, but it's about a third of what the other ones sold during the same time period.
I will say that though, critically, Demon Souls did much better than any of the Fable games did.
Well, yeah. But
critics love that game.
It's the fact that the demographics are changing. I have some more numbers here because I'm a nerd like that. The Entertainment Software Association did some polls, and they found that the average gamer is 37 years old, has been playing for 12 years. And then 82% of gamers over 18 years of age. So this sounds like a hard
Now, does this count? Is this console gaming, PC gaming?
This is all gaming, I guess.
Oh, because that's going to count casual. Well, that's going to be weird.
Well, yeah, but I mean, from that statistic,
gaming is such a
broad. It's
broad
super
term,
broad. Like
yeah.
Cityville is
considered gaming. Yeah,
but
6-year
if we go on to
women.
look at more statistics, 42% are women, and
Yeah.
that women over 18
casual.
years of age, one of the industry's fastest growing demographics.
in casual.
Casual games.
What ages was that?
Women over 18 are the fastest growing demographic in games.
Yeah, well, I would say that women like 20 to 30 though aren't necessarily casual. I think that like
It depends. I think there's two groups.
Yeah, well, I know some women that
Well,
even
your girlfriend.
even her, yeah, but not just her. We'll just hear. But not just her. I know several girls who are not like shut-ins. Not like the typical like what you expect when you're like a World of Warcraft girl or something.
Well, here's an interesting statistic. Adult women represent the greater portion of the game playing population, 37%, than boys under the age of 17, which are only 13%. So they almost double the quote video game, what you would consider stereotypic video.
I would say a lot of that probably is casual.
Yeah,
though.
far.
Well, that's the last statistic, which is the most damning of all of them, is that 55% of gamers play games on their phones or handheld devices.
That's so shitty.
Yeah.
God damn, man, games are gonna get so bad.
It depends on how much they play games. Like, I've played some games on my Android phone, but I don't play. I wouldn't sit there on my Android phone when I have a PlayStation in front of me.
Well, yeah, but the thing that I'm trying to get to at the point of this article is that video games have become a big business. They make as much as movies now, probably more. I forgot what the last statistic was on it, but they make a lot of money.
more.
And of course, people are going to make games for what sells. So obviously, this is turning more and more towards your iPhone, casual, handheld device, maybe Farmville, shit like that, than it is going to be, their AAA blockbuster first-person shooter.
Yeah, 'cause they're too expensive to make.
They're too expensive to make, plus you're not going to have the kind of sales on those that you're going to have on the casual games.
Right.
So it's interesting if you look at a perspective, like for the last, I don't know, I've been playing games for almost since I was like 4 or 5. So that's almost my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see how the shift in games has gone from, especially when it comes to the risk-reward factor. Like a lot of earlier games, there was, the games, they may not be difficult, but if you lose, you go back to the beginning of the level or you have a game over or something like that. Games nowadays, they're just getting rid of that.
Yeah,
Like,
there's far less punishment.
It's almost like games now are like a roller coaster ride. You just kind of ride
games,
along.
I feel that games now they're more cinematic. They're more movies,
Yeah.
interactive videos to watch as opposed to actual things you have control over.
Well, one thing I'll say though that I feel a lot of the time is that people say that PC games, like a lot of people like PC games better, or they think PC games pose more of a challenge. And in a lot of ways they do, but I think that consoles have, like in a lot of ways, PC games have shifted toward playing more like console games.
Well,
Yeah.
because they're made
But-
for consoles first now.
Well, not all of them, but yes, a lot of them are. But a lot of the time too, I think that consoles have shifted more toward PC game style too. Like
When it turns
look
to come to online play, yeah, you're right.
well, not just online play. I'm talking about even single player games. Like there's a lot of games now that have auto save that can save your progress exactly where it is all the time. That never existed on consoles.
well, that's because all the consoles this generation have internal storage. If you
Well,
look at the
I'm
ones
aware of
previously,
that, but there were, there was the ability to do that before in other ways, and they chose not to, and so and that I think that the games might be more challenging, but that's not necessary. I mean, that's easier when you can just load something up from right before every time.
Well, one of the other statistics that I pulled off, someone did a thing when they looked at all of the gamer awards for Fallout New Vegas, is one of the things. And they give you, of course, trophies and achievements based on whatever system of the 3 systems you're on, based on how far you progress. And they did a look at it. Doing the first quest for finding Benny or whatever the hell it was in that game. 90% of people beat that one. Okay, which makes sense. I mean, some people wandered off into the desert and never got around to it, but whatever. But for the beating the game for one of the 4 ending of the games, it was only something like 30% of the people actually finished the game they played.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I wouldn't expect it would be that low.
So I mean, I think the problem is that a lot of people don't sit down anymore with games and play it all the way through. They have the mentality of doing 30 minutes at a time, quick games. And I think that contributes to the difficulty of games. People want to be able to do something easy for 30 minutes at a time. Be like, oh, whatever.
Right.
People like to sit down and feel like they accomplished a goal within that time period.
But the question,
Right.
that's also the question
why.
of accomplishment. I mean, we play Fable, it's really just Alex mashing A until everything dies. As opposed to, like, when I play Demon's Souls, yes, I'll die 30 times on a boss, but when I beat him, I'm like, fuck yeah, I got that guy. There's a feeling of accomplishment with that game.
I think, I'm playing through a pretty old game, Saints Row 2, right now, and it's extremely easy. I mean, it's fucking a joke.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah, it's very easy.
But I'm someone who doesn't have a lot of time to play games. I've been playing that game for almost a month now, and I have 18 hours in it, and that's the only game I'm playing besides watching Alex hit A all the time in Fable. I just don't have a lot of time to play games, and I've definitely gotten worse at playing games because of that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I want to sit down and play Dark Souls. Like, I think you're right. I think games are too easy because Saints Row 2 was too easy, but I think the other end, like games in the 80s, were brutal. I mean, those games are fucking, like, horrible. Like Bard's Tale and shit. They were hard as hell.
Yeah, I think that there's around in the 90s, the mid to late 90s, there became a time when there was a decent medium, and this was mostly on PC, not really so much on consoles because they were still usually too easy, but there became a time when there was a medium where, it was difficult, but you still had a sense of accomplishment, and that sense of accomplishment is now just like long gone.
Yeah, they throw it out there for you. Like one of the comparisons I was thinking of when I thought of this article was the original Call of Duty versus Black Ops. Now, I was talking about the single player for a second. And the original Call of Duty was a fun game, but when thinking about the friendly AIs that were on your team, they did absolutely nothing. They were useless. They were just there. They show them whatever, doing stuff. And then if you look at Blops, you can beat the first level Blops without firing a single shot because your teammates do everything for you.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, I mean, there's one thing to be said about the AI being completely retarded and useless, but at the same time, if they're too good, you're not doing anything yourself, and then what's the point of playing a game? You can just watch a movie at that point.
Yeah.
I think that's what, honestly, a lot of times people want. I mean, I don't think
people like
want
the false sense of accomplishment.
They want a false sense of accomplishment and a false sense of gameplay.
If that wasn't what people wanted, then Metal Gear Solid 4 wouldn't have won Game of the Year from anyone.
Well, that's because of bribes, but sure.
Well, it is, but it isn't. Yeah. A lot of people gave that. I know a lot of people who said that was one of the best games they ever played.
A lot of people said it was because of the story, which is baffling.
That doesn't make sense.
That's like someone saying that Torque should win. I mean, literally, it's the level of Torque. That story is total shit.
Dumb.
If you made a movie out of that, you go, this is fucking retarded. So
we are getting to the point where we need to move on, but I do want to ask you, since I know this is a discussionary style segment, but what conclusion does that bring you to about games? Like, how do you feel about it?
I like playing games because I want a sense of accomplishment. I want to feel like I've done something in the game. I want a challenge.
Right. And
the way the industry's going, it's kind of sad because, I mean, there's very few, I guess you could say, hardcore games coming out anymore.
Mm-hmm. I think what's going to happen and what you're going to see the next gen, particularly because games get more expensive to make, is that you're only going to get those hardcore experiences from download titles. And you're on because the other games are too expensive.
The way I feel about it isn't necessarily that. I feel that it's becoming more and more that either you're going to get a game that's super easy, or you're going to have niche games that are very, very hardcore, and there's going to be very few of them, but they will exist, and they're for people. There's going to be like games like almost like I Want to Be the Guy, like super hard games, but there's almost none of them, and they're completely separate.
I mean, like 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be
or there's going to be a revival in the old types of, like he was saying earlier, like the 80s sort of style of games where they're just brutally difficult because people want to play them.
Yeah, that's possible. I would like to see more difficulty, to an extent, but I just don't see it happening.
And also, when you turn something from normal to hard, it never works.
Yeah.
It just feels cheap.
What it does is, it's like Devil May Cry, where you turn it to hard, and all it does is make the guys take twice as long to kill. It's like, that's not harder, that's just boring.
That's more tedious.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's a pretty good segment. I like that.
And even though I'm not very good at games anymore, I agree.
I guess before we go, what do you say is the hardest game you've ever played?
It'd have to be like Might and Magic 2 on the Sega Genesis, you had no maps. So you had to literally draw the maps everywhere you went, and it was all first person.
doesn't have maps.
Well, it was all in first person and blocked. So
I found a similar thing with like Solstice.
Yeah.
NES. I had a lot of. I played that game for a long time when I was a kid, and I don't know why I played it. I was just always compelled to try to get somewhere, and I was too young too. But that game is. It's just too much.
I'm either going to go with the original Contra or R-Type 3 Lightning War.
I would say R-Type is harder. R-Type is hard.
I almost beat Contra.
I actually have
beaten
beaten
last
Contra.
level.
I beat it when I was younger, a long time ago, though. All right, well, let's move it on. Moving on here. So we're going to talk about Jeff Dunham.
The Dune Ham.
Popular comedian Jeff Dunham.
So Jeff Dunham is considered the comedian who brought back ventriloquism in the last decade.
Good, that's what we needed.
Yeah, we needed more dummies.
Some interesting things about him. He is almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
And that's it, because he's a ventriloquist. Really interesting.
Well,
Aren't all ventriloquists old and creepy anyway?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because
he dresses like he's 30.
Well, no, that's why he is successful though, is because he's maybe the least creepy ventriloquist I've ever seen though. He looks very normal.
Yeah, he
looks
does.
like a normal.
A lot
dude.
of them, they usually have like rapist goatees and stuff,
or like are kind of balding and just like I don't know. They just look weird.
So all my research I did was either from watching Dunham YouTube videos or this a really good New York Times hit piece, which you'll hear me reference quite a bit. So the article, this New York Times article, was written in 2009, and at the time he couldn't be stopped, right?
Yes, this was popular. The height of his popularity.
So his 2008 tour grossed $38 million. It's more than any other comedian.
That's
by
insane.
A lot.
That's
he was the
crazy.
third highest earning comedian, but the other two had residuals for stuff.
Right.
Because it was Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld, so they had TV deals and shit.
Yeah, they don't count.
He also had $7 million in merchandise sales.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of merchandise was he selling? I Kill You t-shirts?
Puppets.
Plush dolls.
Puppets,
yeah. Because I guess adults like to wear shirts with childlike puppets on them. Anyways, he had been doing acts since 1990, but it was his deal with Comedy Central where he really, came off and got
his exposure.
Yeah, so some crazy statistics about Dunham. Dunham's very special Christmas special drew 6.6 million viewers, almost 3 times that as many as Stephen Colbert's Christmas special that year. When this was written when this was shown,
it's popular.
When this article was written in 2009, it was the highest rated show in Comedy Central's history. Dunham's 3 concert DVDs, which all originate as specials on Comedy Central, have sold upwards of 5 million copies. One, Spark of Insanity, which is kind of his famous one, had the highest average customer rating of any DVD on Amazon in 2008. The highest, because any DVD, not just comedy, any. It's like, fuck you, Godfather. I find the comic stylings of Jeff Dunham to be the cream of the crop.
So there's either 2 solutions for that. Either one person rated the DVD 10 stars and no one else rated it.
No.
That's not what happened. This is Jeff Dunham. He has thousands and thousands of fans.
No, he's huge. He's.
I have to go kill myself now.
No, you're going to find out a lot of things. If you didn't know this, you're going to be sad by the end of this. So who are these fans? Well, the New York Times piece explains it kind of slanted.
Wise people?
Yeah. So this is from the article. For weeks, Dunham handlers have been stressing me how multi-generational his audience is. They were so relentlessly on message about it that I assumed they were exaggerating, until I saw it for myself. It was an odd kind of diversity. The crowd at the Prairie Capitol was almost entirely white, but other than that, I was hard-pressed to find a phrase to describe even majority, except maybe not thin. This is a report, kind of unprofessional, but still funny.
Well, where was this theater?
I think it was in Kentucky. I don't remember, but he sells out everywhere. In Chicago, in New Jersey, he sells out everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, so you out there who don't know the Dunham may be going, okay, why do you seem to hate this guy? Because obviously you can tell I hate him. People have different tastes in comedy. For instance, some people like Mitch Hedberg, and other people aren't retarded.
Saw that coming.
Well, this piece explains the animosity. This piece of the article explains the animosity Dunham gets from me rather well. So, Dunham had loosed a big stew of jokes ranging from the goofy to racist to the homophobic, but which, delivered by puppets, with Dunham making disapproving faces, managed to feel almost wholesome and even a little square. So this is Dunham's trick. You can say all the racist shit you want, because you're just doing it through this puppet, and then you just give him a mean face. You go, oh, bad puppet.
And I've been complaining about that since the day
first time I saw him.
I was like, this guy's just a racist comedian, but he has a puppet say the racist shit instead of him. I don't understand how this is like. If a guy
you
said
explain
that,
this to people, and they just do not acknowledge. They just don't get it. People like them. They're just like, oh, it's just all in good fun or whatever.
Yeah, they say it's all in good fun because they're white people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
Well, so let's hear some clips. But the jury's out. We don't know if he is being racist. So here's the first clip. This is Ahmed, the dead terrorist. I'm not going to explain. You know what he is, even if you've never heard him.
Wait, please explain.
This is from his Christmas act.
All right.
Dashing through the sand with a bomb strapped to my back. I have a nasty plan for Christmas in Iraq. I got through checkpoint A, but not through checkpoint B. That's when I got shot in the ass by the U.S. military.
Yay!
Thanks. Thank you.
Now I kind of feel I empathize. I understand why Al Qaeda did it.
I have to sit through more clips.
Yeah,
there's more than that.
He kind of reminds me of Franklin from Arrested Development.
but he's not done ironically. This guy actually has fans.
Well, I think Franklin was making fun of Jeff Dunham actually.
Yeah.
He was starting to come up at that time.
I guess so.
But anyways, that was Jingle Bombs. Just to let you know. I love this. Just to go on about this, I love this quote from Bill Engvall about Ahmed, the character, who, not surprisingly, did shows with Dunham because, birds of a feather do shitty comedy together. He said, how many times a day is the word terrorist Google? But that thing still pops up near the top of the list. It's usually in the top 5. So I tried this. I typed terrorist into the video search on Google, and it was the second and third matches on all of Google search for video if I typed in just the word terrorist.
What was number one?
Bill, it was some short movie or something, but still, that's incredible. So, anyways, terrorists are evil, right? So that's not racist.
I will say, fortunately, it is not even front page now.
Well, if you look it up on whole search, on regular search, I looked on video search.
No, I just looked at Google search. It is no longer front page.
Good. There is justice.
Okay. Well, I was saying video search. But anyways, terrorists are evil, right? So it's not racist because they're evil. Everyone hates terrorists. So here's another clip to maybe back myself up of Peanut. He's some purple thing. And Jose the jalapeno, a talking jalapeno. I think you'll be able to tell who's who.
I have a question for Josie.
I left that. I had to leave it all in.
Where's the joke?
My name is Jose.
No one laughs at it. Fuck
sorry,
you,
I thought
Mexican.
We were in America speaking freaking English. But I didn't see the little chick over the E, which magically changes Josie into frickin' Jose. And I didn't see the N over the N, which changes jalapeno into jalapeno. So the N over the N and the chick over the E, 2 keys I can never frickin' find on a frickin' keyboard.
That's hilarious.
But okay, so
his entire joke was come to America, speak English.
Yeah, and also, hey, Spic accent characters aren't on my American keyboard. Ha ha ha. And that joke kills. It kills. I mean, that is a top tier joke off of his special. I mean, you should see the clips. Just big fat white dudes clapping and just dying in the audience. It's so funny. So, anyways, with all this success, Comedy Central decided to give Dunham a show called the Jeff Dunham Show.
Yes.
So from Wikipedia, the show premiered episode drew 5.3 million viewers, which made it the highest rated Comedy Central premiere, or really series showing of all time. But the show, even for its fans, was not well received. Eventually, it went under 1.5 million fans per show, and since Dunham's contract was so huge, they decided to cancel it. So why did his fans not like it? Well, here's a clip of one of his dummies, old curmudgeon Walter, talking to the band Good Charlotte.
Talking to Good Charlotte, the band.
Yeah, like Lifestyle's Richer Than Famous.
Benji Mad's guy.
Benji and Joel. Those guys.
Do groupies follow you around showing you their tatas?
Tatas is one word you could use, I guess.
Gazongas, balloons, fun bags, Twinnebagos, milk makers, upper balconies, sweater meters, sweater meat, lung mittens, fun pillows, honkers, my humps, my lovely lady lumps,
That's the fun.
you know, tits. What's wrong with you guys?
Don't old people.
Okay, so this guy is more successful than we will ever be.
Yep, probably. Almost definitely.
I would say probably.
So you think that Dunham's peak is over with, right? That he's gone away. He's pretty much like, maybe like a touring, doing successfully. Well, he just had a special called Jeff Dunham Controlled Chaos on Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. And even though it wasn't really well received by his fans, it still received 5.5 million viewers its opening night, which is incredibly good for a cable show. Actually, it's basically a top-rated show for the week, if not in the top 3. So he's still big, guys, so that's great. So I just want to say that I don't like Jeff Dunham. It's obvious. I don't think anyone here Ryan looks incredibly depressed. But I actually don't think he's the most guilty party. I think he's guilty, but I don't think he's the most guilty party. The most guilty party is his fans.
Of course.
Because, there are lots of racist, shitty comedians out there. I've seen multiple of them, and they usually bomb.
Let's
even in front of white audiences.
I want to hear what Alex has to say about Jeff Dunham.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
just fucking make him look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But, it's his fans' fault.
Oh, it is. Well, it's always the fans.
If his fans booed him, he would write other stuff. But they don't. So now, not only does he exist, but there's also other ventriloquist comedians on Vegas Strip and everywhere that are hugely successful. So this is a thing.
I saw one live recently. This was less than a year ago at a Phoenix stand-up.
I'm so sorry.
There was I obviously did not know that ventriloquism was on the menu, but I was there watching stand-up, and they were like, next it's a very talented young lady, and I'm like, all right. And then they go,
I'm already discouraged.
She's no,
I'm a comedian.
Well,
that's a joke.
Sometimes,
that's
but
a joke.
But and they were like, and she is a ventriloquist, and I was just like, oh no, and she was about as funny as Jeff Dunham, I would say, which is not funny at all. But she wasn't racist, though. I will say that. That's because all of her jokes were, and she had the same doll as the old guy doll,
Oh, really?
Walter or whatever the fuck. And that's all her jokes were about old people, and it's just the same exact thing.
Well, there you go. You learned about Jeff Dunham. Who's learning next week?
I guess I don't remember. Was it?
Oh, we'll just post it later on.
It doesn't matter. We're not doing a podcast next week.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah,
People will forget
the week
anyways.
after. No one will remember anyway. We'll just make you learn again.
Great. I'll learn about Gallagher.
Okay.
Let's drink now.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Let's get on with the sillies, guys. I don't want to hear any more Jeff Dunham. I'm feeling sad now. Let's talk about overrated movies.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Now, this what I did is I just wanted to talk about movies. I didn't want to go on and on about a bunch of shit movies that are too popular. All I did was I went on Google and I looked up overrated movies, and I took a bunch of lists, and I compiled them into one list. Basically, like the ones that showed up the most on these lists of movies.
So this is what other people think. Not
yes,
what you think.
not me necessarily, but I just want to talk about them with you guys and what you guys think. Do you guys think these? Okay. Now, you've never seen Titanic.
Nope.
Titanic was high on the list. There are a lot of
because that movie sucks.
I would say yeah. I would say it sucks.
It's not even good. It's like not bad. It's too long.
That is my big problem with it. Is actually it's
the way I feel about this movie
ridiculous.
is why would you go to a movie that you already know the ending of, like The Passion of the Christ or Titanic?
I saw Saving Private
Ryan. A movie isn't the ending though. With some movies, it's the ride. Like I went and saw Black Swan. You know the end of Black Swan.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what the Swan Princess is.
Oh well, yes. Then
that is Black Swan.
Okay.
Okay. So. That movie is about the ride. And Titanic really was about the ride. It's not about the ending. That's not what the movie is. But the thing about Titanic is that the main girl, Kate Winslet's character, I'm supposed to like her. I don't at all. I don't like that character.
That's true. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but yeah.
And his character, actually, he's very endearing, and I think that's why the movie made so much money, because girls love Leonardo DiCaprio, and his character in that movie was kind of like a dude. Oh, he's really good looking. And his character was like a freewheeling guy. He's like smart, but he's poor, so he's got that like, the guy, that one dude, Billy Zane, gets his comeuppance or whatever, and so it's all a big...
The Phantom.
Yeah.
That's on the list as well.
Let's talk about a movie we've all seen. Okay, so Avatar was high on there too, and that's another James Cameron. Well, that's why I'm putting them together.
I haven't seen Avatar.
I thought you saw it.
No.
You just were all right. We'll just skip Avatar. Avatar sucks. Avatar's
way
worse. That's worse than
Titanic.
Way worse.
Okay,
I think.
if you like Titanic the first time you watch it, or not Titanic, Avatar the first time, watch it again because it's 100 times worse. I didn't like it the first time. Second time, I was like, this is bad.
All I need to know about Avatar I saw from the fucking 30-second TV pilot thing for it is dances with Fern Gully Pocahontas.
That movie is Pocahontas. I mean, that's what it is. It's Pocahontas in space. And they didn't do it better than any other Pocahontas movie. So
a plot device is called unobtainium. That's all you need to know.
It's true.
That's all you need to know.
I will say it did look good on your 3D television.
Yeah, it did.
Here's a good one though. This is a good one. Blade Runner.
Okay, well, fuck you.
Now that one had a lot. That was probably one of the top ones that showed up on.
I'm surprised by that because I get a lot of crap for not liking that movie.
So do I. Yeah. So do I. But I want to. Let's hear Ryan.
First off, I like Harrison Ford's role. Not the role, but I like his performance in that piece. I like the cyberpunk setting, and I think the special effects and stuff look good in it. The plot of chasing the android while he himself may or may not be an android is kind of cliche, but I think it's done well in the film North setting.
Right.
I don't see why people dislike it. It is kind of confusing.
My problem with it,
they could remove some stuff, but
I gotta say before Mike talks, because I know that we both feel very similarly about this movie. My problem isn't with the setting.
No, actually, the setting's awesome.
I love the setting. That's probably the best part of the movie, actually. And I think that his character is not bad. I think some of the other characters are very flat, but more importantly,
Aryan Man's flat.
More importantly, that movie is twice as slow as it needs to be.
Yes, I agree. They could. It's my same criticism with 2001. They could have taken out about half hour of the movie to make.
Well, 2001's on the list too, so don't worry.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. We'll talk about it next then. But yeah, that movie has so many scenes of people just staring at each other.
It's supposed. I feel that the director tried to make it. He tried to, flesh out the characters. So the characters are not really introduced at all. I mean, the guy's a detective, the other guy's a robot running away. There's not much to introduce. So they tried to put interaction there between them to flesh out the personalities.
I like Harrison Ford's character in that movie. It really is a secondary character. And all of them are just.
Yeah.
They're all flat, and Harrison Ford's character is flat, but it makes sense that he's flat, and you see him all the time, so you get his nuances after a while. Because everyone else kind of throws in.
Well, it makes sense he's flat because he's a replicant.
Right.
Well. Anyway, I think that's one of the reasons actually that movie's overrated, because it's like, it's a up to you interpretation ending. People are like, that's pretentious.
Well, what I'm wondering, I guess, so far, do you think all these movies are overrated? Do you
the
think
first two are?
Well, Avatar and Titanic.
I think all three of these are overrated so far. Yeah.
I would say I agree.
I've gotten criticisms for all three saying that they're not good. Funny enough, the one I've gotten the least amount of criticism for was Avatar. Easily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, when you give it, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, they don't even want to argue about it because they go, yeah, I understand, but it looked real cool.
It's no, Avatar looks amazing.
Also, Avatar has some dude fucking an alien, which still to me is the gross. That's bestiality to me. It's what it means. I mean, I think it's disgusting. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, we laughed in the theaters when that happened. We were
we were dying. So anyway, I got to say right now, though, we're probably going to go long. Do you guys want to go long?
That's fine.
You want to do it?
No one cares.
Because we're already at 45, so...
Someone wanted a movie discussion. Here it is.
45.
Let's really talk about some movies then. Let's keep going. 2001, we already mentioned.
2001, I love that movie to death. It's a great movie, but it is half an hour too long.
Yeah, I think that I love the end.
Yes.
The end of the movie is incredible.
It could be conveyed in way less time.
Yeah, they could cut 10 minutes out of the fucking monkey shit.
Yes,
I like the space station stuff, but that shit can be cut down easy. The whole Hal stuck pod bay doors thing is a good scene. It's an important scene in the movie, but again, cut it down. I think they tried to keep it long for the tension involved between the two characters, Hal and whatever the fuck I guess. Dave, yeah.
I think the traveling at the end is the biggest part where they need to cut it down, because I got it after like 3 minutes what was going on, and it's like, okay,
there is some serious,
pacing
pacing problems. I agree.
But I love that movie.
But you know what? Yeah, and I would say that out of the ones so far, I don't think that 2001 is an overrated movie. I think that
it's a Kubrick film.
Because I would say all of these movies so far, all of them, I will say this about them. Love them or hate them, they are all groundbreaking films. There are no movies like them at the time that they came out, and there are a lot of imitators of them after they came out.
It's easy to say a movie's overrated, though, when it is groundbreaking like that.
That's true, because it doesn't necessarily on its own merit. Hook was not on the list, sorry. So here's one. Here's one that me and Mike will instantly scoff about, Crash.
Oh, I hate Crash so much.
Have you ever seen Crash?
Which one is that?
Crash was made in 2006,
2005.
5, I think. Like I think it was 5.
It's about. It has Matt Dillon, Sandra Bullock. It has a bunch of ensemble cast.
Sandra Bullock movies.
Well, it's considered
you watch Demolition Man.
Except for Demolition Man.
It's
because I watch Rob.
Actually, Sandra Bullock was not the problem with Crash.
No, Matt Dillon was, and the plot was.
The plot. That movie's
Matt Dillon. It's not Matt Dillon himself. It's the character they wrote for him.
Yeah,
it's so irritating.
That movie's one of the preachiest movies I've ever seen in my life. It's just
Matt Dillon's character is so bad.
All right, well,
why is it considered overrated for a person who does never?
One Best Picture.
Okay. Well, it won Best Picture for one thing, which is that's the best picture, best movie of that year, basically.
No
politics.
No, and yes. It is. But that is why it was completely politics. The movie is a very strong anti-racism message, which I mean, obviously. I didn't even need to make an anti-racism movie anymore, because who's going to make a pro-racism movie? Either you say racism's bad or you don't say anything about it.
I think Soul Plane was a pro-racism movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Or any Tyler Perry film.
But that one
I hate black people.
Soul Plane was
bad.
Soul Plane was overrated, but only because one person liked it. No, it's an anti-racism movie, but what he was saying, the point he was making about Matt Dillon's character is that he is possibly the most overtly, ridiculously racist character in a serious movie.
Like forced?
Yeah, completely forced.
But they give him some stupid reason, I forgot what it was.
I don't
somehow
remember. It's been too long.
A minority kills someone that's close to him.
Yeah, I watched it the year I came out, or
me
year it
too.
came out, and that was the only time I ever watched it.
And I don't remember the movie very much, except for not liking it.
Probably good reason for that. Now, here's an interesting one. Gone with the Wind was on a lot of lists.
I don't like that movie.
I can see why it was important and popular, but I don't like the movie. I thought it was boring.
Yeah, I feel that way too, and it's not because the movie's bad. It's just too damn old.
I have to say it was a different time.
It's so detached from any type of reality.
What I will say though, is that I looked at a list. Most of the movies I watch, I'll say, are from past the year 1950. I mean, that's pretty safe to say. There's not too many movies from before 1950 that I've enjoyed. With a few exceptions,
Birth of a Nation,
maybe M, or Metropolis. M, those are cool. But
like Kane,
Citizen Kane. I love Citizen Kane. Yes, but when Gone with the Wind came out, which was 1939, I can't name 5 movies that came out before that movie that
Al
are
Jolson, this jazz singer, man, is good.
jazz singer. I seriously can't think of 5 movies that are better. So I go, no, I don't think it's overrated because I think that the reason that it's rated so highly is because that when it came out, there was nothing that could there was almost nothing that was nearly as good as that
it's hard to rate that movie seeing how there's such a time gap.
Yeah, it's just too old.
It's just the story is completely unrelatable. Like all your knowledge about the Civil War, it's like, you don't need that because that will make sense in this movie. Just
right.
Wait, what? No, that won't work. No, it's so confusing to watch.
So here's a good one. Me and you feel pretty differently about this movie as a whole. I think, in some ways, anyway. Chinatown. You ever seen Chinatown?
Yeah, I've seen Chinatown.
Yeah.
I like
Chinatown, I absolutely love this movie.
It's a classic of the noir genre.
Huh?
It's a classic of the noir genre.
Oh, yeah, it's considered the best film noir, like, up there in the top, up there with, like, Double Indemnity and stuff like that. But I know how you feel about it, and I would like to hear you talk about that.
Okay, so Chinatown, first 85% of the movie is awesome. Despite the fact that Mia Farrow is terrible in it, you're just like, okay, I'm going to ignore Mia Farrow. Otherwise,
she's pretty ignorable for most of the movie.
Then the end of the movie happens, and they give her a big scene with a really ridiculous plot point.
Sister-daughter.
Yeah. So that was hard. That was a hard part.
That is a bad scene.
Yeah, it's a bad scene, and it really hurts the film because if that wasn't a crucial scene in the film, it wouldn't matter. It would be like, well, I love this movie, but it is a crucial scene, and it's like, man, this scene is so bad.
Do you think
we're talking about her acting abilities? Why is the movie overrated though?
Well,
is it just because that
he thinks that scene kills the movie?
I think, I mean, it's a really important plot point in the film, and it's executed poorly. I still think it's a good movie overall.
Do you think that it was...
You can't be one of the greatest movies and fuck up a huge climactic scene.
Do you think... And now, I will say this, even in the worst actor performances, the director is always at fault, because the director, it's his job to make sure that the actors are doing a good job. So, but here's what I'm asking you, though. Do you think that was Polanski, or do you think that it was Farrow who actually ruined the movie?
I think it was both, because Farrow was in The Great Gatsby, and she was the thing that ruined that movie,
I agree. I don't like her. I think
sucks.
she sucks.
She's awful.
I don't think she's a good actress. But do you think that if...
Polanski shouldn't have... After he saw her do Sister Mother, that delivery...
Right.
And then, okay, do it again. Okay, do it one more time. After it didn't work, he should have went, okay, I either need to rewrite this, or I just need to rethink this. Like, I'm screwed. Like, I
kind of agree. I think that he should have known that scene wouldn't work the way it did.
Well, he wants it to be noir, and it is very dramatic.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the noir genre is almost all Pulp Fiction stuff anyway.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be overzealous. And
Speaking of Pulp Fiction...
yeah.
That was an unintentional segue.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty good. Let's talk about Pulp Fiction, guys.
Okay.
Now, I've already said in not too many episodes ago that Tarantino's best movie is Reservoir Dogs. I stand by that.
I completely agree with you on that.
How do you feel?
I'm not a fan of Pulp Fiction.
Don't like it?
It's the idea of telling, like, it's supposed to be a Pulp Fiction novel, so it's supposed to be disjointed like that. But, like, you're watching, it's like, this is gory, they're swearing at each other, but there's, like, no plot. I don't feel for any of these characters, really. I mean, Bruce Willis's character is about the only one. Bruce Willis' character is about the only person I feel any connection with in the entire movie.
Yeah, well, there's an old saying. There's an old saying that goes. Well, I don't know if it's an old saying, but there's an old like movie making technique where it goes, if your main character is the bad guy, make the bad guy even worse.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that in that movie, it doesn't really do. I don't like the good guys really. I don't really want them to succeed, but I don't really want them to fail either. I just couldn't. I'm kind of there for the ride, but I'm just like, you know, they get killed, you know, whatever.
I like that movie, but my problem with it is if you're going to have 4 different stories that are very loosely tied together, they're basically 4 different stories.
Yeah.
They all have to be just as strong as one another, and they aren't. Some stories are far weaker than the other ones were. And
I feel
that's
that way
the big
too.
problem.
The problem I had with the movie is that I enjoy watching it, but I find it hard to be invested in the movie at all.
Well, you finish the story and you're like, okay, that one's done. Let's go to the next one. Oh,
Yeah.
it's tied in that way. Okay, well, I'm on this story now.
The other interesting thing about it, though, and I will say that this is just like off the charts for me, is that some of the people who put that on the list of most overrated movies, I saw 2 of them put that Kill Bill was done way better. And
Okay,
I'm
that's
like, well,
just
that
idiotic.
kind of, yeah.
That's completely stupid. 'Cause that movie's way worse.
Yeah,
I
Kill
agree.
Bill's not a
I
good
agree.
movie.
It's
Hey,
much
you want to
worse.
talk about scenes that ruin movies?
You're talking about the anime.
Silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Oh, that's bad.
The
anime scene too. The anime scene is
silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Kill
Fucking-
Bill, but Kill Bill wasn't on the lists.
Yeah,
They
I know.
had
I don't
Pulp
think
Fiction.
anyone thinks that's overrated.
Well, Kill Bill didn't win an Oscar, so. Let's talk about. I know. We all may have some strong feelings about this one. Fight Club.
Okay.
Now, the first rule about Fight Club.
As we don't talk about. So next topic.
Yeah. No. Fight Club is the definition of an overrated movie, and I like Fight Club. But that's how do you get more overrated than Fight Club? Is it possible?
There's no deep meaning to that movie. There's no profound.
No, you know what I'll say about it too? I'm not one of those people that goes the book was better than the movie. They're different mediums. They're not even similar.
It's almost always right.
It's never right. It's never right because books cannot be better than movies. It's apples to oranges. But the difference is the book is about something and the movie's really not. The movie is a fun movie to watch.
I just my thing with that movie is it's just it's entertaining. It's not.
Yes.
It's not.
There's no point trying to be driven home. They try to make one, but it's.
They what they do is they mention the demasculation.
Yeah, but it's not the point of the movie.
Of men.
Yeah.
The point of the movie is to watch this guy go crazy and punch people.
The book is literally like all about that. Like there's so many things in the book that they're just like, listen, we got to tell the story of the book. They took that shit out, which is smart because that would not have translated well to the screen.
Yeah, no one wants to watch that.
The most annoying thing for me was when that came out, it was about a year before I went to film school, and then I had to watch every version of Fight Club that you could imagine made by film students because they're like, oh, it's so cool. He thinks that he knows this person that's imaginary, and they all made these fake Fight Club ripoffs. They thought they were being original, but they weren't.
It's
infuriating to watch.
Again, it's an identity movie that was at the time groundbreaking because no one had really done it that well at the time. Yeah. And it came out, and it's a really fun movie to watch. And you watch it like, and some people might have been taken by the twists, others might not have. But the point is that like you watch it and you go, well, that was fun to watch. It was cool, but that's where it ends.
Yeah,
you know?
they put meaning onto the movie which it doesn't contain.
And I, as well as you, have met many people who said it was one of their favorite movies or one of the best movies they've ever seen.
That's just insane.
There's a difference between having a favorite movie and a best movie.
Well, I've heard both.
Yeah.
Many times about Fight Club.
I've heard that about Donnie Darko too, but I don't really.
So here's 2 that I got to talk about because, I mean, these 2 strike a chord with me for a very obvious reason. Fargo and No Country for Old Men were on a lot of lists.
Really?
Both of them, yes.
Both Coen
Those
brothers.
are great.
The Coen brothers, yes. I feel that way too. But
I think
then,
No Country is not as good as Fargo, but
I think so too, but the funny thing is that Fargo showed up way more than No Country.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
They
a
both
lot of
like
people.
accents.
Well, I don't
A
know.
lot of
Maybe
people
people
said
just
they
don't get like
hated
the dry humor in Fargo.
Maybe. I think that there's also a lot to Fargo that comes off as almost like they're just shitting on it instead of like making an actual point. Like, I mean, look at like the scene where there's a lot of scenes in that movie that feel like they're making fun of those people.
Oh yeah,
which
a lot of the movie
they
is
are.
that.
They are, but at the same time, they're not saying they're dumb. They're just kind of poking fun, but it doesn't feel that way. And I think maybe some people don't like that because like they're
Everyone
driving
that
me
thinks it's
crazy
over.
down at the lake.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene is just like this guy. It makes him look like a total idiot.
Yeah, everybody who thinks that's overrated is from Minnesota. So
We don't act like that.
But I feel like putting that on the same list as like Fight Club is just such a.
Was Donnie Darko on any list?
That's funny. It wasn't. And this
That's
is one thing that I was going to
astonishing
talk
to me.
about because I could even show you my screen. I put all these things and I put personal picks. And Donnie Darko is at the top of that
I hate
list.
that movie. I really dislike it. And
Did you ever see Donnie Darko?
No, I have not.
You haven't
So
seen
I can't
it.
say anything.
The thing I'll say about Donnie Darko, and we won't keep going on Donnie Darko, is that Donnie Darko had supplemental materials that you could read online. If you need to put that in with your movie, it is not a good movie.
No.
I'm sorry. It just can't work.
What about all the supplemental stuff in Lord of the Rings?
Well, you don't have to read Lord of the Rings to
I had-
understand the movie.
I had 2 film school students that did not know each other the 1 year I went to film school, and it came out the year before that said that was the best movie they had ever seen. And they begged me to watch it, and I watched it, and I was almost nervous because I hated it so much. I felt like there was something wrong with me because I was like, God, I hate this movie. It's so dumb.
No, I didn't hate Donnie Darko. I wouldn't go that far for me. I mean, I wouldn't even say
Southland
close to that
Tales
far.
was my vindication because I was like, this exactly shows that director and what
Donnie
he is.
Darko is a masterpiece compared to
Southland Tales is one of the worst movies ever made.
But let's go to let's see. I think we'll be done with the ones that were on the list. The only other one I really wanted to talk about, and you guys can name some personal ones if you want to. My main personal one that wasn't on any list is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
I can't.
Oh man!
Have you seen this movie, Ryan?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I hate it so much.
I can't stand that movie, and it's got the biggest cult following. And I know I'm going to hear
know
shit about this, though.
I know
I'm
why
gonna
it's
get
not
shit.
on overrated list though, because a lot of people do hate it. It's very
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of people
true.
really, really hate that movie. I can't stand that movie. It's so aggravating. And,
I don't even want to talk about it.
the
There's
music's
so
awful.
Much. There's so much.
The acting's awful. Just everything. The plot is completely ridiculous and nonsense.
Yeah.
Talk about pacing. Last 20 minutes of that movie.
Oh yeah, that's
complete shit. It
everything
just gives
about
up.
it. This is everything about it. But I had to mention it because it just bothers me.
I'll just piggyback on that, or Boondock Saints. I said before.
Yeah, you said that before, and I agree. That wasn't on any list.
Dude, Boondock Saints, man. I mean, come on. That movie for the
You
first
seen that?
Yeah, I've seen
the first 3/4 of that movie entertaining. I'll say, it's entertaining. But then it starts going into the courtroom and getting all deep about this really shallow, dumb idea.
How did you feel about Boondock Saints?
It's a stupid action film.
Yeah, that's exactly how you should feel about it. It's kind of dumb.
I never saw the second one, and I've always wanted to watch it.
I think we should. I haven't watched it either.
Maybe that should be a movie of the month.
That could be a good idea. We got a movie of the month. Do we want to do that?
We should. What were we gonna pick?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just pick it because I don't know if but I'm going to say that it's going to be Little Hercules.
Oh yeah. We want to watch that.
Which is a movie about. I'm just going to say a few words about Little
Say
Hercules.
Professor 3.
A 12-year-old Hercules leaves Mount Olympus because he wants to live in Burbank, California.
Hulk Hogan is
the
an actor.
movie,
That's all you need to know.
Hulk Hogan plays Zeus. So
It's appropriate.
there's a lot of things to love.
Does he
about
rip
Little
off his
Hercules.
fucking toga?
That'd be great.
I hope so. What are
Zeusomania.
What are you gonna do when Zeusomania comes crashing down? So we're over an hour already.
Yeah, I know.
But
you're not getting one next week, so you can just listen to half of it and then just keep it away like a Mormon food ration.
I already said it was gonna go way long if you guys wanted to keep talking.
I don't care.
I gave you an option.
Top 3.
Yeah, let's do top 3. We'll just do it real fast because. Okay, so the winners were Footloose, then Real Steel, then The Thing, which means that Alex and I went 3-0, and you two both went 0-3.
Yep. I really thought I picked Real Steel number 2, but I guess I didn't.
I
really thought I picked The
Are we
Thing
going to be able
number
to do
one,
this?
but
I think we
didn't.
should just skip the next week.
I agree, actually.
Yeah.
I think we should skip this week because
You know what?
Alex isn't here.
Because all the movies coming out are horrible, and if any of them make $1, I'll be disappointed. Because we got Paranormal Activity 3. Shit, that movie will not be good.
I heard a thing on NPR.
Three Musketeers is easily the worst movie
Hold
out
on.
of those three.
I heard a thing on NPR the other day. Since the advent of film, there have been 26 Three Musketeer movies.
And none of them have been good.
Yep.
Like we've said.
The only one I actually watched, I might have seen other ones inadvertently, but the only one I actually watched was the one from the late 90s.
I saw one in theaters.
Yeah, and that movie's dumb.
Yeah.
It's just
this
dumb.
one actually looks worse, much worse than that one did.
I
That one looks like
saw-
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I saw a trailer for this one. Looked bad.
Dude,
There's also Johnny English Reborn.
that movie. I want to say again that what I said, Three Musketeers is by far the worst out of the three. One of them's a Rowan Atkinson sequel, and the other one is a Paranormal Activity movie. And I'm still saying Three Musketeers is by far the worst one out of those three. I bet.
We're going to have next week off, and Alex isn't here, so we should just skip it.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I agree. We'll come. You know, I think we were talking about this a little bit. And since we're already over time, I don't really care. I want to ask you guys. Some people have been saying they don't like this segment, and I kind of feel the same way. Do you think we should revamp it?
I don't know. We'll
I
have
think
to
we should
discuss
toss it. I want to hear some feedback from
Maybe
fans.
instead of talking about top three, we could talk about the movies coming out.
I wouldn't mind talking about the movies themselves,
I don't know.
and how
That's
we
something
feel,
we can
what
talk
we think they're
about.
going to be like. Which for us is probably 90% of us going, "That's going to be crap. That's going to be crap."
Have you seen the trailer for Paranormal Activity 3?
Oh, I
saw that.
I
It's
haven't
based in
seen
the
the
80s.
trailer, but I know the plot of the second one.
It's
so.
based in the 80s, and it looks like it's in HD. It's like, no, you're already losing me because you're using cameras that don't match the time period.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
Make
to
a
hate about it.
1920s movie with like a red
Yeah,
epic.
it doesn't make any sense. It's like, shoot it on a fucking IMAX camera.
Why not, man?
Oh, this is footage we found from the 1920s. It's like IMAX,
Okay.
3D.
Yeah.
So
Well,
top five?
let's do the top five, and we're not that bad actually. Whatever.
We're
Who
pretty
cares?
bad. Oh, well.
It'll be like an hour and a half.
I just
So-
want to get it over with. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry too.
Fine. All right.
So number 5, this is one I wanted to put on there. People who let dogs in their driver's seat. So people who drive their
With the
car,
lap. With the
yeah,
lap.
and lap dog,
Yeah.
literally. So I was driving the other day, and it was the morning, and this car started swerving in front of me on just in the center of town. It was like 35 mile per hour speed limit. I was like, man, no way this guy's drunk at 7 in the morning.
Wow.
Well, most likely at least.
We're in Phoenix, not Detroit. Come on.
Yeah. So I drive by this guy to pass him because I'm afraid of this guy. I want to get away from bad driver.
Right.
And I drive by, and this little white puppy dog head pops out the driver's side windows. It's like, hey, what's going on?
What kind of dog was it?
It was like a little Shih Tzu.
It's like a Shih Tzu.
Yeah. And I was just like, cut. And the guy's like sitting there, and it's like crawling over his arm while he's driving. And it's like, and I see this quite often in Scottsdale. Why
Yeah.
do people do this? And this was a man, by the way, which is that's a whole nother thing. But I see
also-
mostly women do this.
A lot of the times I see people let the dog, like a big dog, and it'll have its paws on the window sill, like the sill of the window, with half its body sticking out. I'm like, if you hit a huge bump or if you
dog's
have to
gone,
swerve,
yeah.
your dog's just going to fly out.
This is probably going to get me huge hate mail, but every time I see, like, one time I saw a dog's, like, giant head in the driver's seat hanging out, like, just moping out of it, and it was deadlock traffic, right? And I was in the lane and I could pass it, and I wanted to be like, man, I wish I could just punch it right in the fucking head.
But it's not
Like,
the
I was
dog's
in the
fault, though.
I know, but I just think it would be so... this dog
You'd
needs to
blow
learn
its
its place.
mind.
Yeah.
You'd blow its mind.
So, are these dogs better or worse than people on cell phones?
I think it's more dangerous to dog. I think what you said, though, that texting is more dangerous. I do think texting
I
is more
think people who
dangerous.
text and drive are the worst.
God, I
but
hate
we won't
making
go
a
on
phone
about
call.
that.
I hate making a phone call because you have to go through the menus.
Let's not even go on.
There's a guy the other day on his motorcycle text messaging, which I
So
find
crap.
astounding.
That's a can of worms right
Yeah.
there, man. So about 53.
Yeah, 53. We are the 53%. This has been covered a lot now. So, there's Occupy Wall Street, and they're one of their memes is we are the 99%. Well, there's some people that are mad about this, mainly conservatives that just they really don't know how to be mad anymore. They don't have anyone representing them, so they're just complete puppets. So they started the site called We Are the 53%, and what they do is they write on a piece of paper things about themselves, and they're always things like, oh, I have 3 jobs, I can barely afford my rent, my kids have bad health care, but at least I'm working and not being a bum like those schmucks on Wall Street, like, that are protesting.
Well,
Not the Wall Street people, they're fine. Just the people protesting.
Right. Well, you're you got to explain what that means, though, what the 53% is.
It means that they're the ones that are paying taxes.
Correct. Yes.
Which, by the way, if you're working 3 jobs, you probably are not paying taxes because you're probably all low wage earning jobs. Also, if you have 3 kids, being from working in taxes, you probably are not paying federal income tax. But whatever. If they think that, great. But either way, I love this mentality. It's like, hey, my life's awful. Why can't you be happy that your life's awful too, asshole? It's just the weirdest stance I've ever heard. It's like, yeah, my life sucks too, but at least I'm not bitching about it. Yeah, I'm glad I'm being exploited. It's like,
yeah, that's the problem
weird.
with it, is that these people are bragging about the fact that they have to work harder than they should. I don't understand how that's a bragging point.
The best ones are all like, my house is worth 60% less than what it was before the crash, but I don't blame Wall Street. You should blame.
Why don't you?
Completely
Yeah,
their
why
fault.
don't you? I don't understand why you don't.
It's so confusing. I don't know.
That is the most confusing one.
I've seen that multiple times too. My house I'm paying more on my house than what it's worth, but I don't blame Wall Street.
Isn't that exactly what they did?
But what they do is they blame the people that bought the houses who couldn't afford it. But they don't look at the fact that the house was valued twice as high as what it should have been, and also that maybe they were approved for a loan that they shouldn't have been approved for, and blah 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 blah. But whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's get on to more important things. That Japan likes crooked teeth. Now you're going, what do you mean by that? Well, people with straight teeth, or some people with straight teeth in Japan, are getting cosmetic surgery to make their teeth crooked because some Japanese people like crooked teeth better.
I don't
want to live on this planet anymore.
Must I remind you that this is Japan, who thinks the most masculine dude is Gantz, or whatever his name is.
Danny Gantz.
Whatever that guy's name is.
No, Danny Gantz is dead.
Basically, we could sum this one up to Japan.
No, it's
stupid.
Gak.
Gacked. I'm thinking of the manga.
Oh.
Crooked. Hey, you got kind of crooked teeth, right?
Yeah, I got shit teeth.
Do you like having that?
Oh yeah, I wake up every day and
thank you for letting me have.
I look in the mirror and just pride myself on my shit teeth.
I don't know. Beauty's different everywhere, but Japan's also silly. So, moving on.
Japan's beyond silly though. That's stupid.
Okay, so number 2, the Iranian terror threat. So there's a lot of articles you could point to for this, but one of my favorites, Glenn Greenwald, said it so appropriately. The most difficult challenge in writing about the Iranian terror plot unveiled yesterday is to take it seriously enough to analyze it. Yes, that is exactly it. That is all there is really to say about it. It's just, this is the stupidest fucking thing.
Which government agency came out with it? Was it the FBI or
it was
Homeland Security?
It was Attorney General Eric Holder that initially announced it.
That's a real quick overview.
Okay, so basically, there's this Saudi ambassador, and we love Saudis.
Of course.
Even though they bomb us and fund terrorists. Anyways, we love them. And one of the ambassadors was found that they were trying to... Basically, the Mexican mafia was trying to kill him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to further complicate it, that they were hired by the Iranian government.
Yeah, basically Iran tried to put a hit out.
Yeah. Via the Mexican mafia.
At least according to Eric Holder, anyway.
Yeah, with no evidence. There's zero evidence that has been provided.
They don't want to give up national security.
Exactly. But what's interesting is you think, maybe they should get mad at the Mexican mafia because they were going to actually commit the killing. But instead
they're just the middleman.
Yeah, they're not even paying attention to them. They don't even care about them. No, now what we're doing is we're going to try to go to war with Iran.
Yeah.
But the best part is that the American public doesn't care. Even conservatives are like, I don't care about this. This isn't a good enough reason to go to war. And you're starting to see the news media trying to pound the war drums for a few days. On Tuesday and Wednesday, they were like, yeah, war. We're going to go to war again. Yeah, ratings. And then no one was clicking on those stories. And they're like, oh, Lindsay Lohan got drunk again. I don't know.
No, they always phrase it differently. They phrase it, though, could this lead to war?
Yeah.
That's what they always...
it should.
Yeah.
Here's some expert pundits.
Yeah, expert pundit says it should.
Former CIA chief Michael Hastings.
It's always fat bald guy. It's
Yeah.
always who it is.
Oh yeah, or William Bennett.
Expert pundit.
Wait, you're saying experts on the news are always fat, old, and white?
Yeah, and paid by the CIA. It's proven.
Maybe they would just watch a lot of Breaking Bad, and those Mexican hitmen are just endearing now.
They're just diversifying, you know?
Yeah, moving out.
You can't have all your eggs in one drug basket. So,
The
number
drug
one.
cartels are getting cut down. I mean, it's hard to get pay anymore.
Yeah. So, people act like idiots, people wanting crooked teeth, and I rate a fake war plot.
These
propaganda.
people are 100 times dumber than all of those combined.
So these are all below number one. Woman calls 911 because she got lost in a corn maze.
No, not just her. Her
Well, her
entire
whole family. Yeah.
So her husband too. Also her husband was lost in the corn maze.
I gotta say, I've been in corn mazes. I don't know about
I
you.
have to. Yeah.
There's no way you could get lost in those things.
Yeah, you could.
You could just
usually can look through them pretty easily.
Yeah, you go which way's south, and then just walk through the corn. Does it matter?
No.
But then, okay, so this was in Danvers, Massachusetts.
So I want to say the second highest educated state in the country.
Yep. Well, that's how you know they're smart. And we got some sound clip.
That's good.
Got a little sound clip here.
So they called 911.
911 to find you. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi, I just called. I'm still stuck at Cornish Farms. I don't see anybody. I'm really scared. It's really dark, and we got a 3-week-old baby with us.
Relax, calm down.
Lady, you are wicked smart. So this was at Connors Farms. You can see a picture of the corn maze if you really want to look it up. They got lost with their kid, and they're carrying their baby. So let's hear the second part.
I gotta say, so far, from the perspective of the 911 guy, it's like, okay, this woman's really concerned. What's like, this is a problem.
And nothing's been really said yet.
Yeah, she's
where
horrified.
She's
She's with her kid. It's dark. Something's wrong. So let's see what he goes from here.
After about 10 minutes, an officer and his canine found the family 25 feet from the exit.
You're going to be okay, all right?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, all right?
Never again. We thought this would be fun. Instead, it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare!
Listen, I just got off the phone with the stupidest bitch ever.
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy's so pissed. So are you kidding me?
Also,
they called twice.
They called twice, and they dispatched a cop. How much does that cost the city?
Let me look.
It's several hundred at least.
Yeah.
It's usually around I think 40,000.
Well, that's the dispatch, like the fire people.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they
But
just
still.
dispatched a police officer. Well, the best part is he found him 25 feet from the exit. That's what I just said. 25 feet away from the exit.
It took them less than a minute to find them. Less than a minute.
These are the people that we have to convince to vote. Julie, we have to convince. How do you get these people to make any decisions that are completely even remotely
I kind of
rational?
feel that once a year everybody should be put in a corn maze. If they can't find their way out and die of starvation, well, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Well,
I gotta say though, just to point out, when I looked up cost of 911 call, this is a Yahoo Answers. How much does it cost to call 911? There's also 3 other questions, separate threads. Does 911 cost money to call? Does it cost to call 911 on a payphone? Do they charge you for call 911?
Oh my God.
Yahoo Answers is probably the most, I don't know,
the greatest source of information on the internet.
Do they charge you for call 911?
How is Babby formed?
All right. I know what you guys are all thinking, though.
Is it over?
It is over.
Yeah, finally.
It's time to end the 24th episode of the Tipping 40's podcast. If you want to call us, it's 218-666-8407.
We won't be here next week.
We will not be here next week. The email is podcast@tipping40s.com. So we will resume in 2 weeks, and Alex will be back with us, and
I'll be gone.
You'll be gone. Yeah. Ryan will be gone, so that'll be another
I don't have to do anything.
Odd episode.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Adios.